So I wanted to talk to you, Austin, about
Yeah.
the謙遜の文化 in Japan
Mhm.
because, I have so many students who are like, oh, my English is really poor. My English is so bad. And then they have great conversations.
Yeah.
And they're actually really good. Whereas like in the States, I can imagine somebody, oh, you're Japanese. I speak Japanese. Konnichiwa. And then it's great. What else can you say? Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is going to just be completely out of left field.
Yeah. 今日はですね、日本の謙遜の文化とアメリカの自慢の文化についてフィルターなしのネイティブ同士の会話をシェアしたいと思います。英語をたくさん勉強したり、ネイティブ英会話である程度会話を練習したりしてても、いざレッスンを離れて外国人の対面するとなると、なんか雰囲気が全然違って言葉出てこないってことありますよね。僕も日本に来た時、まさに同じことがありました。だからですね、少しでも実際の会話に慣れられるようにですね、この会話を英日字幕付きでシェアしたいと思います。これまさに僕が日本語を勉強していた時にこういうの欲しかったと思った教材ですね。I hope this lesson will help you get used to real English. もし印象に残った表現があったらぜひコメントでシェアしてくださいね。Please share in a comment. それでは Let's get
started.For some reason, this topic reminds me of Rocky.
Like the boxing movie?
Yeah, the boxing movie where it's like you have like the training montage where it's like, I'm the best around. No one's going to ever bring me down. But it's like, I'm the best around. Like that's such an American perspective.
I know, yeah.
Right? And it's like in contrast to that, like if you think of like a really famous athlete in Japan, like Yuzuru Hanzo.
Yeah.
Right? And
the figure skater?
The figure skater.
Yeah.
And if you ever see any like interviews with him or like any kind of like videos of him, he's always like very quiet, very like self-contained kind of thing. He doesn't like openly brag. It's like, I'm like basically the best figure skater in the world. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, oh, but I still have a long way to go.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of slipping up. Like I'm not really doing as best as I think I can be doing. And it's like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another example.
Yeah.
Is so my wife is like really into do you know about like the Timeless documentary?
No, what's that?
Timeless is a Johnny's group. They used to be Sexy Zone.
Oh, well, yeah, I remember Sexy Zone. They changed their name to Timeless.
Yeah, who'd have thought the Sexy Zone might not be like the best name to like advertise to teenage girls?
The most unfortunate name is Kinky Kids. But do you know why it's called Kinky Kids?
Why?
Because it's spelled kinky with a Kinki, because that's the name of the region of like Osaka, Kyoto, and Nara, like that part that all comes together. And so like that's where everything comes together. So they were from that region. So that's like saying I'm the Boston Boys, but they're the Kinky Kids.
Okay, we're gonna go off on a little bit of tangent because there was something I saw really funny.
Okay,
and this is gonna get like slightly racy.
If you guys don't like sex,
but
close your ears.
So McDonald's Japan recently had to like rebrand their desserts because when they came out with the desserts, they're like, oh, try this delicious adult cream pie. And it's like, that's the name you went with, huh? Really? You decided to name your food that. Okay. Like,
this is already getting really raunchy. If anyone don't look up what cream pie means on the internet.
I'm just talking about McDonald's food, man. I don't know where your head is.
I know. Don't go to Google Images and look that up because I can't talk about it on the show. That'll get us a strike.
Oh my God, man. Anyways, so yeah, humility. Back to talking about the
after adult cream pies.
We're going right back to the topic. All right, so I'm watching this Timeless documentary where it's like it's this Johnny's group that's like they just had this recruitment documentary about like hiring on 4 new members. And so now there's like a new documentary going over like their current what they're doing right now, right?
Yeah.
And it's just so funny to me because these guys are professional performers.
Yeah.
Right? They're the top in their business. Timeless right now is like one of the most popular Johnny's groups, if not the most popular Johnny's group currently. They're huge, dude. My wife just went to a concert like last month. It was sold out in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
Like this group is massive, right? They're even popular like overseas. They've gained some traction overseas and stuff. And so it's like this is a big group, but it's like we're watching this documentary, and in the documentary, the guys are like, "Yeah, we haven't been giving 100% in our performances, and like I really feel like we're just on the verge of slipping up and falling apart." And it's like, what the fuck? What are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
You guys are super good right now.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like have some pride in what you've done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because like, when I think about, because in Japan's really famous for being a culture based on humility, where you don't really talk about yourself. But
yeah,
I do feel like in award ceremonies, you're not allowed to congratulate yourself because everyone is applauding you. And so you're like, imagine if like at the Grammy, someone's like, "Yeah, I know I'm the shit. I'm the best singer ever."
Yeah.
And I did that because I busted my ass off. Thank you. Bye. People be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
So always like, I thank you, God, for being naked on TV. And but so at that time, it's really important to be humble. And actually, what was it? This is going to be on a tangent.
This is a tangent episode, I guess.
My autistic brain going, but the Medici family during the Renaissance, they actually were able to keep their wealth and like make the people happy by going out in regular people's clothes and not having like,
oh my God,
like,
it was
displays of
like a Buddha moment.
Yeah, it's like it wasn't a Buddha moment. They were Buddha outside, but they were rich people at home. But anyway,
so was Buddha.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, he was super rich.
Yeah,
his mom financed his travels. So like, sorry, we just got all the Buddhists angry.
Oh,
but
probably.
Yeah, but no. So you have those times, but like I remember, around my wedding, I told my dad to give a speech about his like feelings of us getting married and stuff.
Yeah,
and not me marrying my dad. I was marrying Natsumi.
Oh yeah, thank you for clarifying that, man. I needed that.
Yeah. But I remember her dad was like complimenting me a ton, being like, he is such like a man's man, and he is really full of responsibility, full of like, he's American but full of Japanese spirit, and saying all these nice things about me. And my dad couldn't really understand that. Yeah. And then my dad, when it's time for him to speak about the marriage, he just talks about how he's so proud of me for 5 minutes in front of the whole room. He's like, "Yeah, I'm so proud of how Arthur's become such a great man.
My son's the best." Not to humbly brag, but, I think he might be probably the best person that's ever married someone.
Yeah, but it was funny because, like, at the end, I was like, "Dad, why'd you do that?" And he's like, "What? You didn't tell me what to say." But it just shows you how kind of, like, the culture is so different,
Yeah.
So, like, first of all, let's talk about how you feel about, I think Japanese people are overly humble, and people in the States tend to be overly like bragging or overly proud, or like they tend to like be really into their stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Like how do you feel about that living? Like how do you feel about that living in Japan?
I have struggled personally because I am, at the end of the day, when it comes to expressing myself, I'm a showman.
Yeah.
And part of the territory that comes with that is I brag a lot.
Yeah.
And it's gotten me into hot water, especially here in Japan a lot, because it's a very isolating thing to do. Because like once you put yourself up like on this pedestal and you're like, look how awesome I am, look at all these things.
Can you talk to me a little bit about how you say you're a showman? Because I think I understand, but I want to make sure we're clear.
Yeah, so like when I'm having a conversation with somebody, I tend to focus on things that I've done.
Okay.
And I talk about that, my experiences. Like everything in my conversations always like through the lens of my experience. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's like a really selfish perspective in life. Like God, what are we transitioning into a therapy session? But I really struggle with with seeing other people's perspectives.
Yeah.
Like that's something that I personally struggle with, right?
You don't say. That's a shocker.
Yeah, I know, right? And I think that one of the qualities that showing humility and being humble is, I think it does allow you to put yourself in the other person's shoes. You know, because you have that humility, you know, displayed in people being like, oh, you know, I'm not that great. Like, I can't really speak English. But I think that manifests into other parts of people's lives where it's like they cut people slack a lot more, whereas I feel like I don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I am a lot more judgmental because of the standard that I hold to myself, I also project that on other people. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I remember this was at my son's previous kindergarten. He was a different one now. And he didn't change because of this. But I remember they had to do a play of the Three Little Pigs and the Big Bad Wolf.
Yeah.
And you know, the original story is either the wolf falls in from the chimney into the pot, and either he escapes or they eat him. It's one of those things. Either way, the wolf loses, he goes away.
Yeah.
The threat is gone. But in this play, the rendition that they did is they had one of the pigs go up to the wolf and say, "Wolf, why do you have to be so mean? Why can't we all just be friends?" And then the wolf was like, "I don't know. Maybe we could be friends." And then they all became friends at the end. And they all hang out.
So lame. That story sucks.
No, but the point that I want to try to make is like everything, you know, a lot of things you see in Japan is about group dynamics and group harmony. And so you want to be polite. And one of the reasons why you want to be polite is you want to maintain that harmony. You don't want to be the nail that sticks up, right?
Yep.
And I think that's nice, but I also think that what that does is it really holds the floor higher, but the ceiling never gets really hit because you don't have individuals excelling in there. Because everyone wants to be friends. Everyone wants to be the same thing.
I'll give you a really good personal example of kind of what you're saying. Just in my teaching career.
Yeah.
In my past, is not currently. In my past, I tend to work a lot more with Japanese teachers when we're collaborating on you know what, like a curriculum or lesson plans for classes. I don't really work with the international side, and one of my frustrations that I have in my profession is a lot of people tend to not speak up about things, right? And I think this, once again, this kind of goes with the kind of whole humility thing that a lot of people have here in Japan, where it's just like, oh, well, I think I know how we should do this, but this other person seems to be really set in what they want to do, so I'm not gonna say anything. And then what that leads to is it actually screws everybody over.
Yeah.
Because here's what happens. Let's say we have a group of 6 teachers that are in charge of the curriculum for English for junior high.
Yeah.
Right? One of these teachers tends to be very by the book, old school English or Japanese English teacher, right? And then maybe you have like 1 or 2 foreign teachers like myself. And then maybe you have a couple other Japanese teachers who are in charge of teaching like grammar or something, right? And basically, in an ideal world, all of these teachers are working together. It's like, okay, you're covering this in your class. I'm going to cover this in my class. You're going to build this grammar. I'm going to focus on production. Great. Everyone's working together. But in reality, in this scenario, what ends up happening is old school by the book teacher has some like really antiquated idea, and a lot of other teachers, particularly younger teachers who are in their 20s, who have gone through college and especially educational training, like up to date training here in Japan, all these are new methods and stuff that the teacher from like 30 years ago doesn't know because they've been out of the education scene. They never say anything, right? And, you know, if I speak up in that situation, it creates conflict because, you know, the reality is I'm an outsider, right? I'm an outsider coming into the education system, and although I'm like a full-fledged teacher, it's like there's a lot of just let the gaijin do what they're going to do in their class, right? I'm going to stick to what I'm doing. But then there's not a lot of communication on the Japanese side of like, you know, younger teacher talking to older teacher like, well, I don't know. I recently just got out of college and I got my master's degree and I know exactly what we should be doing. But because you are kind of strong-willed on this situation, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I see a lot of that.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I saw this. There's this book that I started reading and then I stopped reading because I'm lazy. But let me see if I can find it. Okay, so let me just let's see if I can find this. Oops, I cannot find that. Never mind. So,
okay.
There's this let me see if I can find it again. Oh, dang it. This is... Let's see if I can find this.
One more time.
Let's see if I can find this. No, I can't find it. But anyways, so there was this book that is basically talking about why is Japan not innovative?
Sure.
And what can you do to be innovative?
Yeah.
And what they talked about was the dynamic that you talked about, where when you care about group harmony and you keep the seniors in the senior position, it leads to a lack of innovation. Like I think as an example, they talked about in the 80s that Korean Air was one of the most dangerous airlines to ride. They had so many crashes, and they looked at the black box of what happened, you know, and you had like the pilot who was like this veteran dude and this co-pilot who was kind of new.
But he had better training, right?
And he probably had better training.
Yeah.
And no, there's two co-pilots. That makes it even worse.
Okay.
Because one of them said, hey, you know, maybe it would be a good idea to do this. And then the main pilot's like, nah, I got it. I got it. He's like, yeah, but it's kind of dark. Don't you think we should do this? It's like, no. I've done this a million times. It's fine. And the other person had the same training was silent the whole time.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening is the guy crashed the plane into the ground and everyone died.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And
right.
Yeah, so it's about this like this humility. On one side, it's great because it creates a lot of like peace and group cohesion. So when you can work as a group, it's good. But when you need to have real change happening, it doesn't work. And the thing that's really tough is that the masses are dumb. People are not dumb, but the group of people as a collective are dumb.
We're quoting some Men in Black right here.
I'm actually
a person is smart, but people are dumb, panicking animals.
Well, is that what the line is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I remember like, because that's what the Nazis did in Germany to try to get power. They had Hitler's face and then just single word slogans because they knew that simple messages work, because the brain of the hive mind is so low and you can't have decent discussions unless there's one person willing to like take charge, which you can't have if you have humility.
Yeah.
You know?
I think there's a time and a place for humility.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think we've really highlighted some like really core issues with society here in Japan because of humility.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of power harassment and a lot of harassment problems come out. I mean, I'm not going to try and victim blame, but I think that these problems get made bigger problems because people don't speak up.
Yeah.
Right? And even if it's not a harassment problem, I think there are some people who are, I don't want to use the term afraid, but it really kind of is afraid to like go against the grain and be like, I don't think we should do this.
Yeah.
I think we should go this way.
Yeah.
Right? You also see the opposite problem happening in the US though.
Right.
Right? There's a really famous saying, too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
I've never heard of that before, but it makes
Are
sense.
you kidding me?
Dude, I'm from Germany.
No, you really are not American. How do you not know that saying?
Well, dude, I'm not from the fucking West. I grew up in like New England.
I'm not from the fucking West. I'm from Boston.
The Indians were like almost all dead by the time we got there. We didn't have to fend them off.
But yeah, so the saying "too many chiefs, not enough Indians," it's kind of actually an offensive term, I guess, if you think about it. But whatever. The point is, there's too many people trying to take charge and push into a direction, and not enough people willing to support an idea.
Yeah.
Right? And you get the same problem in the US where every single freaking person needs to have their little input on the thing. And it's like, well, that's a nice idea, but I think we should do this. Yeah. You know?
Well, a lot of times they won't even say, I think that's a nice idea. They'll be like, no, we should do this instead. Why would you do it that way?
Right.
Like, it's funny because my sister's not going to watch this episode. So,
oh, shit talking family episode. All right, let's go.
Because like, I remember how whenever I'd visit the United States, like everything that I would do, my sister would be like, oh, that's strange. Oh, that's a weird way to do that.
Yeah.
Why would you do it that way?
Yeah.
Why don't you do it this way?
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is just the way that I do it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not just her, but it's in general, people are like, why would you have to do things this way? Do it the right way. You should do it this way.
Yeah.
Like correcting your behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that gets really annoying.
Yeah. And not only does it get really annoying, but I think it really, it has a very similar effect to what we just talked about here in Japan. Because here in Japan, I think there's an issue of people not speaking up.
Yeah.
But in America, I think there's an issue of people's voices getting drowned out by louder people.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Louder, like, my idea is better. You need to listen to me. Mm-hmm. Whereas like somebody else is like also saying a good idea, but no one can really give attention to that because this person's dominating the whole scene, right?
Yeah. No, I get that. You know, one thing, speaking about that, like not speaking out kind of group mentality thing that I really loved is, so in 2023, my business was doing really well, and also my costs were a lot lower back then. But inflation,
dude, I would love to go back to like 2017.
I know that was good, but the so that was the first time that I had ever done like a staff vacation trip, and we went to Shirahama and Wakayama because I did not have enough money to go to Okinawa for everyone. So that was I wish I could have.
Oh my god. Anyways,
so we went to Shirahama, right?
Yep.
And my dad was visiting too, and it was amazing. But what he thought was amazing was how once we landed on the ground, the group dynamic was amazing. There was a good amount of planning too, but it seemed like everyone worked together in great synergy to like get us to our place and get the ingredients for our barbecue, and then having the barbecue and making sure everything. I just said making sure everything was cleaned up at the end, you know? And it wasn't like there was one person being like, okay, guys, we got to do this. Okay, you go this. It wasn't like one leader, but it kind of just worked. And my dad was like, this is amazing. The people did this without any direction.
Yeah.
And it just kind of naturally happened. Like this would never happen in the States.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I think about that and I think about who were the leaders, I could think of two people who could have been the quote unquote leaders, but they did not bask in the limelight. They weren't bossing people around and stuff. Everything just worked so well. Whereas like in the States, it would be like, oh yeah, guys, we should do this. No, we should go do this. No, we should go do this. And it'd be like people pulling in opposite directions.
Yeah. I think like a really good comparison is just looking at how people walk in the train stations.
Yeah.
Right? It always kind of just goes back to that, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's the most
Everything
amazing.
goes back to the train stations.
It really is. It's like I feel like the train system here in Japan is like the most incredible thing that Japan's ever done.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that out of like Japan hasn't done anything. I'm trying to really emphasize like how big a deal it is.
Yeah.
Because if you go to other countries, any other country on the planet, I don't even care if you go to an Asian country, if you go to Germany, every other train system on the planet is a shit show.
Yeah.
It's crowded. The trains are late. everything sucks.
Yeah.
But you come here in Japan, I mean, yeah, trains are delayed every once in a while.
Yeah.
But
there's
like,
good notifications about
there's
it. There's
good notifications. There's a legitimate reason for it. And even then, it's like outside of like some extreme circumstances, we're talking like a couple minutes late.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's not like in Boston. So Boston has the oldest train system in
Sure.
America. And the train that goes through Harvard is the Red Line.
Yeah.
And I remember like 5 years ago, the Red Line was closed because one of the trains caught on fire mid-trip. It was like, why?
Good question.
Could you imagine like a train catching on fire in Japan?
Yeah.
Like, that's unheard of, man.
Well, I mean, even if it did, it would just be like, okay, cool. We're going to put this train in the parking lot. We're going to take one of our backup trains and...
Yeah, right.
Great. Train's delayed 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just...
Right?
Yeah, it's amazing seeing how orderly that works out,
but,
you know?
But yeah, like my point being is like, if you go to the train system, let's say you go to like Shinagawa here in Japan, right? Or here in Tokyo, I mean, you go to Shinagawa Station. It's a super busy commuter station. It's
amazing.
It's so crazy because you have these lines of people that are walking through each other.
Yeah.
No one bumps into each other.
My dad, we went through there during rush hour one time.
Yeah.
And to this day, we went 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And to this day, he still says, Arthur, it was like I was having an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
It was like a school of fish.
Yeah.
And everyone is moving in this one blob, and no one hits anyone.
No one hits each other.
How?
You never see it.
Well, we hit each other because like our brains are different, but...
Yeah. And you know what the reason why? It's because Japanese society is like, it's ingrained from you basically at birth to respect other people.
Yeah.
Right? And so I always joke that I think that people here are not aware of their surroundings.
Yeah.
And I think as an American, I think people get hit by cars and like people are they just walk into like dangerous situations here in Japan all the time. And I'm just like, are you dumb?
Yeah.
You know, but the reality is, it's like, this is a really safe environment. So it's like, you grow up in the US, you're just always looking for threats.
Yeah.
So naturally, it makes you really good at being aware of your surroundings,
of
right?
the threats
of
your surroundings.
Yeah. But here in Japan, people are taught to respect each other.
Yeah.
And respect each other's boundaries and not like, you know, overly like insert yourself into situations. And because of that, it's super easy to just like... make these like really crowded situations here in Tokyo when no one runs into each other.
Yeah.
And it's like the flow is just perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So we talked about, you know, the good things and the bad things. And like one thing that I also want to share too, though, kind of on the negative side about this is this kind of like lack of pride and being more humble and like kind of reading the room and kind of adjusting yourself to the tone of the room and stuff.
Yeah.
Is actually has really influenced how I teach English. Like one of the big skills that I teach my students is how to talk about themselves. Because you grow up in an environment of saying, I'm not important. I need to keep myself lower. I shouldn't talk about myself. That makes me feel self-important, you know? But the truth is that, you know, by you sharing about your experiences and how you feel, the other person can empathize with that.
Yeah.
And then they want to ask you about that. And it actually keeps the conversation going. Yeah. So a lot of what I do is I teach people how to not overshare, but share about themselves and like get them to actually talk about themselves. And you wouldn't believe the number of people who feel so uncomfortable with that in the beginning.
No, it's true.
And it really like has a negative effect on communication, I think.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I learned this, but I learned this from maybe school, maybe somebody else. But a long time ago, somebody told me I need to always think of myself as a product.
Who told you that?
I don't remember who.
Okay.
But a long time ago, somebody said this to me. And since then, I've been thinking, like, when I have conversations, I think of myself as a product. I don't think of myself as like a person when I'm talking about myself.
Okay.
And
what do you mean by that?
What I mean by thinking of yourself as a product is you want to highlight things in your life that that would bring attention to yourself.
Okay, yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about literally selling myself. But I'm talking about like when you're
yourself appealing.
Like, dude, if I pull out like, oh, dude, you know what? I really like this pair of headphones.
Yeah.
You know, like these, they just really fit my ears really well. It's like, it's so easy to talk about an object.
Yeah.
And like list all these like really interesting or like nice traits that the object has. But people always struggle with talking about themselves.
Yeah.
But if you reframe your mind to just like objectify yourself, I guess is how I put it.
Yeah.
Then I feel like it's easier to talk about yourself.
Well, you know, it's funny because, you know, my dad, you know, he's a really good communicator, and he basically got tons of money just by making friends with the right people.
Yeah.
And the way that he talks is like he always tries to share a little bit about himself when someone shares about themselves.
Yeah.
To try to build that connection and try to show that. And that's actually like difficult for a lot of people to do. Like I hope my wife doesn't get angry at me for talking about this, but she had an interview for something.
Okay.
And she was told to give a self-introduction in Japanese. And you know, the self-introduction here has like a set format.
Hajimemashite.
Yeah, right?
なんとかです。
Yeah. But the
餃子が好き。野球が好き。終わりです。
よろしくお願いします。
よろしく。Oh, so よろしくお願いします。
Yeah. But she was going to talk about her work because it was work related. But they said, oh no, in the next interview, we'll talk about your work. Just tell us about yourself.
Yeah.
And she froze.
Yeah.
She had like, she didn't know what to say.
There's so many things she could talk about.
I know,
too.
but that
That's
was funny.
The crazy thing.
What was funny was that like, I said, well, you could have talked about how you did this and how you did this and how you did this and how you did this. She was like, oh, 本当に何でもいいね. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Because that makes you who you are, and that makes you unique and important, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I have this struggle too. When I'm thinking about like marketable traits that I have. But like let's just, I mean, we're already on the topic of your wife, but like let's pull up this situation, right? She could have talked about her experience as a mother of 2 kids, particularly boys. She could have talked about her experience being married to a foreigner and like language barriers and overcoming like cultural differences while also being a mother.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many different routes that I think that people don't often think about themselves. Like, how many times have you heard, oh, what are your hobbies? Well, I like sleeping.
Yes. Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I like eating good food.
Like,
it's like, who doesn't like eating good food? That means you're a human. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that kind of thing. It's like, once again, circling back to what I was saying, it's like when you start thinking yourself as an object to like kind of convince somebody to buy or in a metaphorical sense.
Yeah.
Then I think
how about I put it this way? You want to show the best part of yourself.
You want to market yourself, right? Yeah.
So you can have the best interaction, you know?
Yeah.
But so now we've talked about kind of like the good and bad of both sides on multiple facets. And like to end this off, since we live in Japan, I think America's kind of like too far gone, and something will happen in the future, but I want to ask you about in Japan, like, what do you think would be an ideal mixing of the two so that you have the best of both and none of the bad stuff?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think a lot of what makes Japanese society great is the humility aspect.
Yeah.
I think that is something that is very unique to Japan. I think people coming, I mean, we've talked about this before, people coming here, it's pretty much almost impossible to come to Japan and have a bad hospitality experience.
Yeah.
Right? There can be some like misconceptions, like sure, but like if you come here understanding what the culture is going to give you and provide you, it's pretty much impossible to come here and have a bad hospitality experience, right? And a lot of that comes from the humility aspect of it. But the problem is you have a lot of the societal problems here in Japan come from the fact that people do not speak up.
Yeah.
Right? So in a perfect world, I think we have people respecting each other.
Yeah.
But also just not putting up with bullshit.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, look, this is not something I'm okay with in terms of like a harassment situation, or if it's a work situation or some other situation where it's like, if you have a good idea, speak up about it.
Yeah.
And it's not even a disrespect thing. It's not, you're not saying your opinion sucks. We need to do what I need to do. The boss of the situation, like the senior person who maybe doesn't have like up-to-date experience, like the young people, might just be so afraid of like, I don't know what I'm doing here, so I guess we're just going to fall back and do what I've done in the past, right? And they may be really excited that somebody spoke up and is like, oh, thank God somebody has a good idea, you know?
Yeah.
That's an entirely realistic situation.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, I don't want to see Japan change that much, but I want to see people speak up more.
Yeah, I feel like there needs to be, actually, I would say, even more humility on the side of the bosses.
Yeah.
Trying to be understanding that I am old.
Yeah.
I don't have all the information.
Yeah.
I can still grow, and things are always changing, and that's okay, you know?
Yeah.
And trying to be open to new ideas. Like, I think if you kind of separate the idea from the person, which even in the States, people don't do that. It's like, you said a bad thing, you're a bad person, you know? There needs to just be more. I would love to see, well, first, you know, all the successful, like the big successful companies in Japan, they spend X amount of energy and resources on R&D, trying new ideas that are okay to fail. Yeah. And it would be great to have like an idea box for people to share their things. And then you just spend time focusing on that. When you take away the idea of this idea came from this person, just look at the idea. That's where I think you're really going to win.
Yeah. So I just want to end things on like a really interesting observation because you brought up bosses, and I want to bring up like a couple examples of like CEOs in Japan and in America, and why I think American CEOs tend to be more successful than their counterparts in Japan. I think a lot of Japanese CEOs and like or bosses, as you can say, they revolve around this like hero boss.
Yeah.
Whereas American bosses are more well known for having like a council that they consult people and go, okay, well, what do you think? You're the expert in this. Yeah. Okay, you think this, we're going to go this.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're really good decision makers and they're really good at picking the like experts to like, if you think of like Steve Jobs. Yeah. Steve Jobs didn't invent the iPhone. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you guys knew this. He didn't do that. Yeah. But he was really, really good at framing an idea and then picking the right people to put that idea into reality, right? Yeah, yeah. And it's like, you look at American CEOs in all of history, they all follow that template. You know, Jeff Bezos, same thing, right? It's like any famous American CEO. But you look at like really famous like leaders of a company here in Japan. Like I'll bring up two. We'll bring up like Studio Ghibli with Miyazaki, right? Yeah. Do people talk about Studio Ghibli or do they talk about Miyazaki?
Yeah, Miyazaki.
They talk about him, right? Yeah. That guy is the face and identity of that business, right? Do you know Hideo Kojima?
Yeah, Hideo Kojima, yeah.
Yeah.
The video game guy.
Yeah, so he's huge. Yeah. And that guy's a genius. I love that guy. But he is the center of everything around him. Yeah, yeah. Right? And I'm not saying that these guys don't like, you know, like get help from people below them, but it's like there's this like hero mentality that I think a lot of companies have in Japan. Yeah. And I think it really holds them back.
What's the seniority complex that we have here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. I mean, Austin and I, we just kind of were talking out of our butts for a while. And
we do that.
If you want to say, Austin, you're wrong. And then Arthur, you're never wrong. I agree with everything you say.
That never happens.
I know. Most of the comments are like, Austin, I totally agree with Austin.
I love you, so Austin, but you have dandruff. So gross. Stop putting those messages in. God, it's so obnoxious.
Yeah, maybe you could fix your dandruff, man. No,
anyways, dry skin, man.
It's okay. I love you too. This is how we express love in the United States.
It's true.
All right, man. I'll see you next time.
All right, see ya.
ここまででレッスンでの英会話と実際の会話の違いをなんとなく体験してもらえたんじゃないかなと思うんですね。 じゃあどうすればこんな風に外国人と気軽に楽しく実際に会話できるようになるのか。正直に言うとですね、従来の英語学習だけではなかなか難しいですよ。僕自身も日本語を4年間必死に勉強したのに、いざ日本に行ったら全く話せなくてすごく悔しい思いをしました。そこからですね、今までの勉強法を一度やめて全く違うところにフォーカスするようにしたら、驚くぐらい話せるようになって人生が大きく変わりました。英語何年も勉強してるのにまだ話せない。でも本当は外国人の普通に会話を楽しめるようになりたい。そんな方に向けて僕とこれまで900人以上の僕の生徒さんが実際に気軽に話せるようになった方法を無料動画講座でいつでも学べるようにしてます。もし今の英語学習に満足しているなら問題ないです。ぜひこちらの動画をご覧ください。でも今の自分を変えたいとか、英語をちゃんと実際に話せるようになりたいと思っているなら、この動画講座きっと役に立てると思います。メールでお届けしているので、この画面をタップするか、概要欄にあるリンクをタップするか、ぜひご登録ください。Thanks so much for listening and I'll see you next time. これからも一緒に世界とつながりましょう。See you next time. Bye bye.